That's praying for people to be healed.
This may sound bizarre, but when I'm doing the bookkeeping and I'm not thinking about it, it goes so smoothly and it goes well and it's done quickly. When I'm thinking about it, I screw up everything.
When you try and overcomplicate it and overanalyze it, it is painful. Oh my goodness.
But to me, that just shows that when I'm not thinking about it, I'm trusting the Lord.
Yep.
When I'm thinking about it, I'm trusting my ability.
Blessed are the pure in heart. Look, if your heart is to serve God and your heart is to serve His people and your heart is to be a witness and to walk in that calling and get rid of yourself, that's pure heart. Blessed are you if that's where your heart's at. Amen? Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Now, is this compromise agents?
No.
Or is this people bringing the gospel in uncompromising ways and brings people to a peace between themselves and God?
Cessation of war.
Peace means the cessation of war.
The sensation of war?
The cessation, the
like
ending.
Ceasing.
Okay. Alright, thank you. Because for the longest time I've heard that and I said, sensation, I
doesn't
don't
make
want
it.
to war with the Lord. He always
No, it
wins.
doesn't mean that.
Cessation, C-E.
It means the
ceasing
ending,
of.
the ceasing of war. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Like
peace
ceasefire.
means no war,
Amen.
right?
That's
Amen.
nice. That's a
So
sweet
how do you
spot.
not have war with God?
Stop fighting.
Surrender. Can you negotiate?
No.
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 Let's
I've
look.
tried.
Believe, baptize, saved. Believeth not, damned. Right?
Right.
That is the...
I mean, it's really simple. Look, accept Christ or die. Well, that's just not very politically correct. I don't care. Political correctness isn't going to get me into heaven. If anything, it'll keep me out.
Yeah.
Look, get right with God or get dead. You're gone. You're done. Well, that's just not fair. How is it not fair? It's perfectly fair.
You have a choice, make it.
He died for you, accept it, live with Him, serve Him, and you live. Don't go to hell. I don't care. It's your choice. He put it out there. I'm just speaking it. I mean, I don't know how much plainer I could make it. Well, what about those poor people that never heard? Look, let me tell you something. Every person that is alive today comes from a man who knew God. Who was that?
Yeah.
Noah.
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our lineage begins with a man who knows God. Romans talk about people that did not want to retain God in their knowledge. What happened? They got turned over to reprobate mind. Did things that were unconscionable to God. It was their choice. Now, you don't have to like what I'm saying, but I really don't care. Take it up with God.
If they've never heard about God, they see God. Because
According to
if you look
Romans, He is
around-
everywhere you look.
Yeah. You
There
cannot
is
look
no
at nature
excuse.
and not see
Well,
it.
it also Paul talks about in the New Testament. There's he talks about that the gospel went is to all
It went all the world
everyone.
and back. Absolutely, it's already been to all the world. Look, it's amazing how big God is.
Amen.
We read a story not too long ago. The ladies read a story in their Bible study, and it was John 4, the woman at the well. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Jesus goes and he sits down at the well and talks to a Samaritan woman. Now there are so many things wrong with that scene that I'm not going to get into right now. But let's just suffice it to say that wasn't normal. That wasn't something he would have normally done. But you know what really caught my attention in that? She says they were looking for Messiah.
You know there's a Messiah coming to tell us of all things.
She was looking for Messiah. And you know who showed up?
The Messiah.
The Messiah. If you want to know Him, guess what? He's going to show up. He went out of His way to show up. How many people did He go plainly up to and say, the guy I'm looking for, I'm He, I'm the Messiah? How many
The guy
people?
you're looking for.
Yeah. How many people did He do that with?
Just her, I think.
Very few. And one of the ones He picks was what?
A hooker.
A hooker. An adulteress. Fornicator. That's who He picks. Wasn't the Mr. Big Shot Pharisee or Sadducee guy, was it?
No.
all the religious women.
And what'd she do? Boy, did she take it to heart, didn't she? Went out and preached the wonders of God, and then everybody, what happened? He wound up staying there a couple days and had revival.
And the men of the town came to the well, and they said, "We believe because of her testimony."
I mean, I tell you what, we serve an amazing God. There's a story my dad tells of a witch doctor in the Philippines many years ago, and he's doing his bones thing, and he's realizing that this is garbage. This isn't real. And he says, there's got to be a real God, but I don't know who he is. So he decides to leave the village and goes up to another mountain, goes to another mountain, goes up to a cave and just sits there and waits. A couple missionary guys went over to that village. Now, this is a village where they eat people. Not necessarily a good place to go. But yet, they had the calling of their heart to go here. And they go and they say, "Where's the medicine man?" He's left. He went to this other mountain. So they go to see him. He walks out the cave and says, "Come tell me about your God." Look, let me tell you. God will show up if you want to know Him.
Amen.
I don't cut people any slack. When they're standing before God, and it's between heaven and hell, and they're going to say, "But we didn't know," He's going to say, "Why didn't you know? I made myself available to you everywhere you looked."
Amen.
Everywhere you looked. But you have to acknowledge that you're not God in order to see Him for God.
Amen.
And when you're a peacemaker, it's not about you making everybody feel warm and fuzzy. It's about you bringing reconciliation between people and their Maker.
Amen.
And guess what? You're going to offend people if you do it the way God wants you to do it.
Amen.
Because a lot of people don't want to be reconciled to God. They'd rather do their own thing. They'd rather have enjoyment right now. They're like Esau, who for the sake of his belly sells his birthright for a bowl of pea soup. That's what people are like. They want it now. Is there anything new under the sun?
No.
We have always been. Humanity has always been a fast food humanity. We always want it now. We don't want to wait. We don't want to endure. We don't want to suffer long. We don't want to do all the things that Christians are called to do, because it wars against our flesh and it makes us uncomfortable. Tough. I'd rather be uncomfortable here, suffer a little bit now, and live forever with Jesus Christ in heaven.
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
Blessed are they which are persecuted for what? Righteousness' sake. Not because they deserve it, but for righteousness. Again, what's righteousness? Right standing with God. When you are walking and believing God and you're persecuted for it, blessed are you. How many people have been through all of that? How many people have been through a lot of it?
Yeah, not really.
It's kind of the rarity. Usually if I'm being persecuted, I usually deserve it somewhat.
Yeah.
But I've been through a little of that. Praise God. I was counted worthy to suffer for Christ.
Amen.
I don't know how I would handle living in Pakistan. Or living in these places where if I got caught on the street with the Bible, I'd just be set on fire right there in public. I don't know how I handle that. Probably not very well.
That's why you don't live there.
Probably why God doesn't have me living there. That's right.
It hurt real bad, but it'd be over eventually.
And you'd be in
I pray for those guys that are in those circumstances, situations, for strength to stand. I look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego,
Yeah, amen.
and their heart as they stood before the king, getting ready to be killed. They're like, "Look, O king, we don't answer you lightly, but
We'll be delivered this day.
today we'll be delivered out of your hand, one way or the other. You choose." And guess what? Jesus shows up. Praise God. He would have shown up either way. You know that?
Yeah.
Whether to take him on home or deliver him, Jesus was showing up.